Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All right.
for the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Flo.
He didn't like my impression last week, so now he's trying to really NPR it. Trying to be, I get it. It's 4D chess.
It make me petty.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar
Welcome to the party.
and Simon.
Hello, folks.
What we do here is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We're going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernons. We're then going to talk about each guest, the talking points, give our opinions, this, that, and the next. No new patrons.
That is correct, Matthew. There are no new Patreons, but that doesn't mean if you're listening right now, you can't join the Patreon for the post-show, the show after the show. The only true way to support the podcast, if we're being honest here. If you can't do that, like and subscribe, leave a comment, and clip it up, put it on the TikTok.
That's a really nice. I'm sorry, Matt. That's a really nice tablet holder. You must have paid big bucks for that thing, eh?
What, like $4?
$3.99, yeah, at a thrift store.
Yeah, interesting.
Oh, you hurt that I didn't buy it at your thrift store?
Yeah.
you
Turn
can
it
see-
around, you stupid
Oh,
idiot.
my goodness.
It's $399, Simon.
I was going to
$400.
say I was going to say it's Hugo Boss, but yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to lie.
No, it's sad.
You're just going to leave it?
Thank you to all the Patreons, past and present.
I'm sorry, Matt. What were you going to say?
I don't remember. Well, he was saying the only way to support is to go and join the Patreon, and I said Simon has a new tagline, which is, of course,
it's what is it?
download, don't listen. So that would be the other way you
Download,
could
but
support.
don't
Download
listen.
the show and
DBDL.
don't, download
DBDL.
but don't listen. Yeah,
That's the 2024 version of Steal This Book,
yeah,
That's the least you can do to support.
yeah.
which was a book
So there's a spectrum. You can join the Patreon or you can just download and not listen.
yeah.
And I'd also like to say Merry Christmas to everyone out there. Hope you had a great year.
Merry Christmas,
Happy Holidays.
Merry Christmas. Yes, whether you're celebrating Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever the fuck. If you're a listener, new, old, we love
I
you.
like how Kwanzaa really got that third spot. One
Deservedly so.
catchy tune.
I said the same
And,
thing about Hanukkah. Trust me, there's only like 10 million of you guys, so we shouldn't even mention it.
Okay. Listen, stupid. You're not going to bring me down today, all right?
I'm not trying to.
Not with your anti-Semitism. Not
You
with
celebrate
your bad
Christmas
jokes.
anyway.
I celebrate the holiday season. I am
So Kwanzaa.
I am a non-denominational.
But
But you were angry about Kwanzaa
No,
getting in
I
there.
wasn't angry. I was just surprised that Kwanzaa managed to look.
Can I be real?
Kwanzaa is an African holiday.
I was just going to say, can I be real with you? Don't even know what it is.
Okay, it's an African holiday. I don't know what
Is it? Are
African
you sure?
holiday, but all I'm saying is like there are so many places in Africa, all with different holidays. I'm sure. So that's what I'm saying. Like Kwanzaa just got in there, and I'm telling you, I think it's just like a catchy tune. Like what does Scientology have at Christmas time?
Give us your money.
They
Give us
should
your
just
money.
get a catchy tune.
Give us some money.
I think
Don't
that's
you have
the
money?
Hanukkah song. You can't just steal another.
No,
Oh
Ron
my
Hubbard
God!
would.
Wait till you see this, though. Wait till you see this. I hate myself for doing this, but Kwanzaa is an annual celebration of African American culture. Okay,
Oh, so it has nothing to do with Africa, Simon.
but
Well, that's weird.
do you see any cultural appropriation?
Whoa, hey, ho, 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 hey. Whoa.
I like that they came with-
Yo.
For listeners at home, it's similar to menorah or something like that.
Whoa. So he's trying to steal on this side and they're
Yeah.
stealing on that
Well, you guys have
side.
stolen so much that they're like, the least we can do is take their 8 candles.
That's crazy. We've
Interpolation.
stolen nothing.
really.
Oh, no, they only have 7. They only have
We've
7
had
candles.
everything stolen.
I know that's
You know
a
what?
fun
Do you
propaganda
even
thing you
know
guys have
history?
done. How have, how have the richest people on earth had everything stolen from them? How is this possible? Let me hear it.
Okay, well, they managed to bring a lot over in their pants or however it worked. And,
Bitcoin?
Satchels of
Okay,
gold
I'm
around
not,
their
like
neck.
I said, I'm not.
Hey, don't let me get you
your
down, Simon.
specific
Don't-
form of hatred is not going to pull me down.
Yeah,
today,
you shouldn't let
Matthew.
it. Not around Hanukkah or Kwanzaa. Maybe you celebrate that. I don't know. No, leave
What
it.
the
It's his thing. Just,
There's a line here, man.
Simon, that's
there's
like-
a line here. You can't see it, Simon, but there's a line here. Have some decorum, please.
Simon,
What a fucking idiot!
for poor people, that's like the New Era sticker.
Unbelievable.
Gotta keep that bad boy on
Shame
there.
I'm
Oh
getting.
my god, I've never seen somebody pull away so quickly when it wasn't even like I didn't touch
No,
you.
I thought you were just trying to sabotage me in all fairness. I appreciate the troll, but I'll get it off there. Sorry about that, Simon.
Okay, well, let's start the show. You want to go over the guests so we can do what we do here?
Sure, Matt, I'd love to.
Thank you, Kamar.
We start off the week with...
Hey, Kamar, great to have you back, by the way. Brett, if you're listening, thanks for covering.
Yeah, that was great. I
You're a real
got a lot
mensch.
of good feedback on Brett and everything on the show. Thank you.
Hold on real quick. Simon, I'm at trivia on Wednesday, and this guy who's there like quasi often, he's like, yo, I was listening to the show this week. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. And he goes, is Brett the most interesting man in the world? And I went, no, I assure you he's not. And I went, he's sitting right there. You can literally go talk to him.
But he looks as old as the Doses Keys guy is what
He's
he's
like
trying to say.
Dos Equis.
Yeah.
That's funny.
We start off the week with 2243, Julian Lennon. Followed by 2244, Ryan Graves. And then we end up the week with convicted
Felon.
governor of Illinois, Rod Blagojevich.
Blagojevich. Wow, what do you rate this week? That's tough.
Thoughts?
Oh my god. I rate this week a 1.5, and I think that is being so generous because it's the holidays.
I'll go one and done. Not even the half.
I mean, I was going to give it a 2 to be generous. I'll give it a 2. Fuck it. Listen, Joe has contractual obligations. It's Christmas. He might be phoning it in. I get it.
We have no ideas when any of these were recorded.
No, we have no idea.
seem
I
to
assume
be-
most of them were recorded last week. I assume he's going to take some time off for Christmas. I would. No?
Yes, he's off for sure. At one point, he said I was just in Paris, but then it was a year ago.
Monaco, yeah.
Monaco,
yeah.
sorry, pardon me. Well, we'll get to that. I think we're going to start off with this
It's like staring right through me.
to Simon's pleasure. 2244, Ryan Graves.
This guy's been on before, no?
Yeah.
Yes, he has. And he came back with absolutely nothing. but to push back on the idea, which Brett brought up, very good point about them possibly looking for some sort of dirty bomb, radioactive device.
Matt and I were talking earlier. He is so by the book, this guy, that even though he's talking about something wholly unbelievable like aliens or something navigating these vehicles, he is unwilling to like speculate in any sort of fun direction. Oh my God. I'm going to sue you for this table.
You stop sticking your finger in the cracks and holes, you weirdo.
It swallowed it up. My
Did you get a
land.
slipper?
Jew-hating table.
You see how quickly I went to lawsuit? That was like, instead of saying ouch,
lawsuit. Yeah,
I said, I'm going to sue you. Oh my God. That was so involuntary. Oh, dude.
No,
That-
Kamar, this guy, I
that's
said to Simon outside, I said the problem with these guys is like, well, A, it feels like Joe is a wing of the government. So he's never going to have anyone of importance on who's going to like he's not going to have a Snowden on before there's Snowden. You know what I mean? Being like, I wanted to come here to break it here first to let you know, like I have.
You would hope, but yeah, probably that's not going to happen.
And then so these guys come on and Joe's like, you're a trained pilot, Navy guy, whatever, all this stuff. And like Simon's saying, he won't even hypothesize. Like Joe's like, so could these things be ours? He's like, I don't know. Like, what do you mean you don't know? I'm a human being. And
He's looking for money, right?
Well, no, his whole thing is he was a fighter pilot.
yeah.
He saw these things.
Incorrect. He never saw the
He was a part of
This is a huge
spotting
detail for
them
me where I almost
on
turned the podcast off and said this
radar and things like that. Anyways, point is,
is suspect.
he's suspect.
I don't know if he's suspect, but he's got an association academy that, like, another thing that almost Tom DeLong to look into this.
Yeah, no, I think that's just because he's trying to raise any
grift.
money
Or awareness.
No, I really think he's in it to, like I was gonna say, he's in it to protect pilots. He knows that there are things out there that they could possibly run into, that type of thing. Safety for pilots, being a former pilot, I think is his number one mission. And I don't think that's like a grift. I don't think they're making millions of dollars over
What
there,
safety?
you know?
What is the safety that he's concerned with for these pilots? Just out of curiosity.
If the American government is not recognizing the fact that there's foreign objects out there, whatever they are, no matter what they are, they're in American airspace, and pilots need to have protocols and be made aware of them. Like, apparently the government knows all about these things, but they don't tell the guys in the F-16 bombers or whatever, you know?
For national
So those
security.
guys are up there flying training things, thinking that they are alone in the skies, and then boom, there's a sphere next to their wing. Like, look, they haven't crashed anybody yet, but it doesn't mean they can't or won't. Or when human error is involved, like,
Well, but you
they
can't-
do
hold on.
something weird, they smash into it. I think that's really his main concern, is the safety of the pilots. You seem totally unimpressed by that.
Yeah, well, I just think, like, if it's the safety of the pilots, and I'm with Kamar, this seems like a cash grab ruse.
No,
It's a ruse.
listen. I do not think. I just don't. Nobody's giving this guy any money. He's
He wants
just
money.
yeah. He wants to the same way like the guy wants monies for wells, or a guy wants to have a foundation for the soldiers when they come back from the war. Like, they're not all grifts.
They're all grifts.
Wow. That's
So
unbelievable.
Back it up. The super chip,
Super cheap.
Willow.
Yeah.
So they're saying that they don't know how, because this is using, what are they called, neutrinos or something very small.
Dude, we are way too stupid to have this conversation.
No, but what the other guy said is that if every cell in the universe was devoted for a computer, it would take 1,000 years to figure out this thing, and this thing can do it in 50 minutes or whatever. And they're saying conceivably it has got to be that idea where the things can be at two places at the same time. It is running the calculations in different dimensions.
Well, first off, they said they don't even know how it works.
They don't know,
so
but
they're hypothesizing.
Science, of
Yes.
course, science. But it would suggest if there is not enough data in our universe alone to solve this problem, it needs multiple.
Then they have to be pulling that data from somewhere, and that somewhere has to be an alternate
So yeah,
dimension.
so that's the whole suggestion, which is kind of cool.
Here's what I don't understand. What is the problem? Like,
What is the problem they
what is
solved?
the problem they solved that is so difficult
perfect
that
amount
all
of
the
ketchup
atoms
and
on
mustard
Earth?
on a
Well,
hot dog.
no, like,
It's the meaning of life. And the answer is 42.
and the other thing that I have an issue with is they then were like, it can't figure out cryptography.
Yes,
Okay.
Big
so,
issue.
Yeah, what is it doing
Big
then?
issue.
Because
And
the
on the other
first thing
side-
I was told was quantum computers will eliminate cryptography.
It's pulling information from alternate dimensions, but it can't turn left.
Well, no,
it can go into a dimension and see you punching in your code on your safe.
but think about what you're saying. Like, they're like, this thing draws energy from alternate dimensions to solve problems. And then you're like, but it can't see into my bank account. And they're like, no.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Really?
crazy.
Safeguards.
okay.
Safeguards.
Well, I just don't buy it. Like, if what they're saying is true, then I believe the second they turned that thing on, Google now has all of the available information in the world. No?
Well, but do they have the power?
I mean, the crazy thing is that as I'm saying this, there's probably a Google executive listening that's like, I got bad news for you, pal. 6 years ago, we had all of the available information in the world. Like, what are you talking about?
If you are a Google executive and listen to this program right now, thank you.
No, donate to the Patreon, please.
Well, buy the whole thing, you piece of shit.
So back to what we were talking about last week with the looking for dirty bombs. So this guy talks about nukes. He says, I spoke to my friend in the government and he assured me that they were not looking for nukes, like a nuke on the loose. But dirty bombs aren't nukes.
Oh, you think it's a semantic issue?
Well, I don't know. Or maybe he just like, I don't know.
Nuke on the Loose was Dr. Seuss's unreleased final book.
Have you seen the, I don't even know if it's real. This is the problem because who knows what's real anymore. But like it's a shot. This must be fake actually. It's a shot of the drones, the New Jersey drones. And it was just like a giant drone.
But
I'm sure that's fake.
But there are other places. They're not just in New Jersey.
No,
There's some on the West Coast as well.
yeah.
I mean, here's the thing too, is like if we were better connected, which is odd because we have the internet, like are they only in the States? Like are they happening in Australia or are they happening in
happening
China?
in England as well. Like they're happening in a lot of places and we'll never know if they're happening in China, which they probably are, but we'll just never get
I'm glad you brought that up. That's a great point, Simon.
Matt?
The idea that we're behind China, like you can't believe that, right? When they said they actually are ahead in drones, we assume that the military, that these companies are 6 years ahead of what we know.
I don't assume that China is ahead of the United States in anything.
You don't.
No.
You assume America's ahead
I
of
think
China.
Kamara has the biggest military
Kamar, the amount of
budget.
money they spend would argue that Simon is correct.
Their D&D,
R&D.
R&D.
Yeah, I mean, their R&D alone. Now, you could argue that the Chinese just wait for them to finish something, steal it, and then try to make it
Sure,
better
that's a
using,
whole-
like, no limitations, right?
Or many limitations.
I mean, here's the thing, Kamar. I've never heard of an American engineer going to, or at least droves of them going to like a university in China. All the Chinese kids go to the States to get educated, and then they fuck off back. So that alone tells me that I don't know.
One thing I don't know if this is interesting. I was watching this thing about kamikazes, and they were flying Mitsubishi bombers. Mm-hmm. The Japanese.
Those kids you're talking about, Matt, coming
Yeah.
here to go to school,
Yeah.
those are the spies that are stealing
Probably, yeah,
the
sure.
R&D. That's why they do that. It's not actually to attend American universities. It's because it's a perfect cover to...
I mean, it's not even a cover. It's like, dude, think about it like this. You're a Chinese student, okay? You go to Harvard. You're working in a class, and this kid, Mark Zuckerberg, is in your class. And you go back to China.
And you become his girlfriend, which is
Well, no,
what
forget
happened.
his girlfriend. No, you go back to China and you're like, I've got this great idea for a social networking platform, and they don't have any copyright or anything. So you can just like what I'm saying is any super smart Chinese kid that's in class can just steal the idea of his brilliant classmate, take it back home, and that alone, right? But I mean, they make everything, Kamar, so that's the issue.
Well,
that's
why I think-
where everything's a lot
that's where
easier to
I think
steal.
that we are behind them on making drones.
Like, think about Apple. Apple makes everything over there, and then they take the time to ship it all back to the States separately and assemble it here.
Do you remember the movie Crazy People?
Yeah.
And the ad for Sony was Sony. It's better because Asians are short. They're closer to the electronics. And they showed a little person on the
Love
board.
that.
Yeah, it was good.
That's fun.
Joe was talking about F1, the F1 race. All the data was stolen or something. He's like, they're race fans. F1 is a different race fan. So
That's a lot of rich people,
West
yeah.
side. I don't know if Joe's aware of that.
Joe's not
It's
aware
true.
of a
You
lot
go
of
and steal
things.
NASCAR information, and you're like, we got a bunch of food stand. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh no, yeah, there is.
No, I'm kidding.
There
That's
is,
rude.
there-
NASCAR
there is
fans
no-
have money
there's
too.
plenty of money at NASCAR too.
Are you kidding me? It's so. There's probably more money at NASCAR.
I don't think
Well, no,
it's
you're just
cheap
covering.
to
The
go
point
to
was
NASCAR.
he referred to F1 race fans as race fans. And I mean, all race fans are just race fans, but I think he was like, why would anyone want their data? And they're very rich.
Problem is-
All the teams, all the drivers. There's a lot going on.
We're in agreement.
when we think of F1 fans, though, we just think of the bougie, like rich boxes. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, look, Hugh Jackman is sitting with Jason Statham
I don't know.
and the Burj of Dubai. You know what I mean?
There
That sort of-
is that, but even if you go to the Grand Prix here in Montreal, it's like
No,
Very
it's
expensive.
pretty bougie. When you go and like when it takes place in Switzerland or whatever, it's fucking bougie.
Yeah, what I'm saying though is there are people with less money that are just like
Yeah,
down
sure.
there in the mix. What I'm saying is what F1 does is what the NFL does with NFL films, where they show you the glitz and the glamour, and they're like, "Don't you want to come to an F1 event? Like, look at all the people that are
I
here."
mean, F1 does a race at Monaco. Like it's
the
it's
worst
a-
race of the year.
I know,
home
but it's
to
a very
one of our next guests.
It's a high prestige sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
The
it.
people who get in. Okay, it doesn't matter. We're
we
in
disagree with
agreement.
him, but that's all right.
We're in agreement. We're in agreement.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we've observed and benefited from, or it's been detrimental, is gambling and the access to it online and stuff. And there's no pushback anywhere. You know, like the Greta Thunberg, how dare you? You stole my future. There's no pushback. It's all gas, no brakes. The way this AI thing is going, that they're like, we need nuclear plants now. This idea that once it comes to, okay, we need this, then that goes ahead. Where we need nuclear.
I don't see AI and gambling as the same thing. Is
Why
that
not?
the well? What? How are
Yeah,
you
what-
equating
They're-
those two things?
No, I think it's more governments getting involved in the gambling. And
Gambling is a freedom that
How are
should have
governments
been
involved?
No, but-
given to people from the start.
It is. It's been a freedom, but putting it on the phones, the same. Like
Wait, what do you mean? It's been a freedom.
you could go gamble 20 years ago if you want to. You just you didn't have as
No,
much
you
access.
had
Hold on,
to
wait,
go
wait.
to a bookie. It's
Or a casino.
It's
No, wait. First, you live here. Most of the states, up until 2 years ago, you could not gamble. Period. End of story.
Yes, so just like that, it's brand new. Just access to gambling.
Yeah, but you just
Yes.
said 20 years ago you could go
You
and
could go to a casino. You could gamble in some aspects. You couldn't gamble on everything you want. I think there was maybe not here about off-track betting, but you understand it's relatively new. This massive access
yes
to gambling.
Yeah, agreed.
And it's going. There's no one saying, "Whoa, we should slow this down," or no, and maybe there shouldn't be.
No, but AI. So, like, sorry, are you equating AI and an app? Is that AI is, a computer that's gonna pull from a different dimension to give you the answer.
And we're not
to
sure
a
what the
problem.
consequences are going to be, good or bad.
Oh, I see. You're worried about the consequences
I don't know if
of
I'm-
AI and the consequences of gambling.
I just saw the same sort of things. They're running at the same time.
What the fuck
I
is he
mean,
talking about?
AI is relatively new. Gambling is relatively new.
Hold on. Gambling is not relatively new at all.
But it's only 2 years old on this access. People couldn't gamble whenever they wanted. 2
Hold
years
on.
ago.
Okay.
yeah.
8
so,
years ago, I had Bodog, which was an app on my phone where I could,
Yeah, I feel like PokerStars is around that.
but they didn't have sports betting.
Sports betting.
But my point is, Bodog had sports betting 10 years ago. So I've had access to that same thing. Even then, we had Proline. I just don't. Gambling is as old as money.
Yeah, so it's much older than money, but just human beings' access to it, and just everyone saying, "Yeah, it's fine." Like there's a commercial where it's a girl and she gets off working like bored, play some slots, and it's just encouraging everyone to be gambling, which is it. The freedom to gamble is what we should be, but we shouldn't be recommending people gamble. We
But
should
no
just
one
see
does
everyone
recommend it.
gamble.
It's just an ad. But what I don't understand, no one's recommending you
No,
gamble.
but we know they're trying to mix it in video games and stuff, gambling and
Yeah,
everything.
right. They're sneaking it all
Everything's
in
on
there.
podcasts about gambling, casinos.
Interesting.
It's all pushing ourselves to. You can't work anymore.
Sorry,
you don't have to pay.
You
for
should
anything.
be comparing this to social media, not to AI.
Well, AI is going to. I am very concerned sometimes when I watch YouTube that I'm like, I'm just watching AI.
Look, here's the thing you should be talking about. the gamification of certain things.
That's exactly what I said.
No, that's not what you're saying, but it's fine. So the stock market has turned into gambling. That's one thing. The second thing is video games are a big issue because video games have implemented, and it doesn't seem like gambling, but for kids, it's gearing every kid up to gamble.
No, that's exactly what was trying to say.
But I was getting really high, and I think like GTA, what is the one that's coming out?
GTA 6.
That could be like a bigger moment because there'll be obviously they're like, oh, if only we put AI into this game. Obviously, they pushed it back to add AI to it, right? With all the progress that it's had, we can assume that.
I don't think they ever pushed it back.
You think everything's going scheduled to it takes 10 years to develop this game?
Yeah.
I would suggest that they're ready at this time, and then something comes up, and like we got to add that, retool it.
Can I push back on what you're
that's
saying?
interesting.
Well, no, can I? But I'm going to push back on what you're saying. There's a 7-year, historically speaking, the cycle of hardware 7 years. So Grand Theft Auto is in a weird position already and alone because you can't take 10 years to develop a game, but they have. They've taken 13 or 14. And just to give you an example, they're going to release this game, and they should have pushed it back, like you're saying, for the PS6, which isn't even scheduled to be released yet.
But it's built.
But that's my point, is it's built, and they can't just keep putting it off because a better thing will come along. So I disagree with you. Like,
They have a deadline.
and Rockstar doesn't miss deadlines. Rockstar, if they say their game is coming out, it's out and done and ready. They're one of the only remaining AAA that does that. Like if they're like, the game's out December 24th, when it drops, it is almost flawless and ready to go.
Well,
from my experience.
Throw my reasoning out. I still think GTA 6 or whatever it's going to be will be like the most immersive.
Yep.
People will throw their lives away playing it. It could have a casino within it. There could be crypto with it. Like
there will be. Hold on.
I think it'll be the first step into like that's a simulation.
I don't think. Here, Simon, why don't we do this? There you go. That should help. Kamar, back to the crypto thing. Like, I don't think so. There was a GTA in the past where there was a casino and like you could go in and use your money. I don't think that will be
Real money?
No, not real money, like in-game money. However, the way the game works now, when you play online, you can buy money. So like I can spend 50 real Canadian dollars to buy like 100,000 or $1 million in-game dollars, which I could then go and gamble trying to win more.
Is there an
fake money.
exchange rate on that, or is it now?
No.
fake
Once
money?
that
You
money,
can't get that
but here's
yet.
the difference. Well, no. But here's the difference. It's funny you mentioned crypto because there's a good chance when GTA 6 gets released that they'll use that. There could be a crypto like within, and I don't even mean within the game. I mean like a crypto released in the real world.
So you're playing mini games for real dollars.
A GTA
That could,
token.
there
a
could
GTA
be
token.
potential of that.
That's interesting. But can we get back to Ryan Graves?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Simon.
No, right before we got off on this subject, we were talking about how things were happening in different places at the same time. These drone things. And UFO, the sightings often work like that, where there's like this like congregation of sightings, and then there's not, you know?
Yeah.
So the fact that this same thing is happening in multiple places is interesting.
That there's could be multiple. Well, I think the most interesting thing is that it's any place where there's a port. This idea that it came on a boat.
Or if another country like China finally did get some sort of because they're being seen. It's so stupid. Like
No, but Kamar just brought up the best point
it's
ever.
not stealthy.
No, but Kamar just brought up the best point ever. You have all these international workers who are not documented, who will not get off the boat. Like let's say you have a tanker come in, okay? You have 4 Chinese nationals on there. The tanker pulls into the port of New Jersey, and one of them is tasked with, you got to fly 10 drones up and get photos of all the local military shit. You can crash the drones after, it doesn't matter. All the shit's being shipped right back to China.
Real time, maybe.
Yeah, and then again, that boat ships out a day or two later. No one has the time or the wherewithal to go on that boat. You need a warrant to get on that boat, to interview those people. boom, the ship is gone to the next port. They do it again in the next port. Like, it's not hard to fill a shipping container with 50 drones and have a guy on the boat that knows how to operate those drones.
Well, that's interesting.
Does it seem ridiculous that we move
It's
all
like
this
a
stuff?
Trojan horse.
Well, yeah, because again, ships are coming in, and the way those workers are, like, I don't think they're allowed to get off the boat. I think when you work on the boat, you are an international. Again, I don't know this for
So
sure.
your question is like one of where are these drones coming from?
Well, this makes the most sense because think about it, you just said he brought up ports. He was like, it's mostly at ports. It makes sense because the ships go port to port, and it's an easy way for, like, let's say a ship hits 8 different ports in the U.S. and it's got a Chinese national on it who's got 50 different
That's really
drones.
interesting.
It's not the hardest espionage in the world, right? Because the drones are disposable. You don't need to get them back.
Yeah, no, I mean, maybe it just is a country doing what it does.
It could be the Russians. They're currently kind of at war with Russia in a weird proxy way, right? Like it could be any number
Well, it could
of
also be Syria
sure.
or Iran.
Again, it could be the U.S. Like why we keep doing this thing where it has to be someone we know they wouldn't tell us.
No, I don't understand why. But then did you hear Trump where he spoke about it and he said, I know what it is. I don't know why they're not.
No, he
telling
said they
you."
know what it is.
They know what it is. Oh well,
They
I
know what it is.
assume
They
that-
know where it came from.
I
They know
assume
when it
that
landed.
means he knows what it is.
I don't think so. I didn't glean that from that.
So Trump right now is the president of the United States?
Nope.
No.
He's president-elect.
President-elect.
Yeah.
So is he like privy to any information yet, or is he still totally
No.
out of the loop?
He's out
He's
of the
just a civilian
That'd be so gay,
playing
though. That's so
golf,
gay. It's
living
like,
at
not till
Mar-a-Lago.
tomorrow.
Yeah, isn't
That's
it?
how it
Can we
is.
open up the receiver briefing at midnight?
That's insane, actually.
It does seem like a smooth transition of power, you're saying?
No, I think it should be instantaneous, though. Like not, but within a week. What are they dragging this shit on for? Why does it take so long to get rid of Biden and get?
So, but you think Biden then, when the second Biden got elected, you think he should have just been like privy to everything and right in there?
No, I'm just. I guess what I'm asking.
But I'm asking you the
is-
same question for a different person.
Yeah, hold on a sec.
Okay.
What I'm asking is why is there such a long time between the guy getting elected and him actually taking power?
Because he's got to get set up. The new guy.
What's the setup?
Picking the Tulsi Gabbard, pissing all those people. They've got to be confirmed.
Well,
I'm
so
just curious.
everybody retains their job until
He's in power, but he's got no staff.
Well, it's 3 months, right? You know that, right? It's always been this way.
Yeah, I'm asking why. Why the 3 months?
So you think the night of the election, that's it? Change
No,
the government
I
right
think
away?
you have to keep some amount of time in case of chicanery.
So like this 3 month window
No,
that they keep, for example.
like 2 weeks.
Okay.
I think is enough. 2 weeks for chicanery, and then he's the prez now. My point is, if there's a nuclear threat right now,
Yeah, but
the
the-
people
hold on.
hold on a second.
no. Let
the
me-
people that the Americans have elected is not there to make a decision at the button.
Yeah,
it's still the other dude.
They elected to
They
up into
elected Joe
2025.
Biden, you dipshit.
2024.
What are you doing here? Your only problem is that he's senile. If he was of sound mind and body, you'd be like, this is how it goes. You get your full 4 years. He came in January and he leaves in January. Again, I get what you're saying.
We're
You're like,
arguing about 2.5 months.
you're arguing about 2.5
Yes,
months.
I'm arguing about 2.5. Well, what do you think you're doing? You think you're not arguing?
You get a 4-year presidency. He came in January. He didn't when he got elected take 3 months from Donald
Okay,
Trump.
I guess then just have the election.
Like, what do you think
closer-
January 6th was?
Okay, I get.
Well,
Then just
who knows what that is now,
Have
eh?
the election closer to the time of the end of the 4 years.
Sure.
You guys didn't even talk about that. Oh, sorry to be a hater.
Didn't talk about what?
That the party with all the guns went to overthrow the country, but said we were not going to bring guns.
Sorry, run that by me again.
January 6th,
Yeah,
a group of people
yeah, showed up.
launched an insurrection
Okay,
to overthrow the government. and they all have guns, but they decided for this one, we're going to be a peaceful insurrection. It just doesn't make sense. If they really want to overthrow the country, they'd go there guns
There
loaded
were zero.
with their conviction.
There were zero guns
Exactly.
at January 6th. No, that's a question.
Yeah,
Zero guns at January
Asked
6th.
and answered.
Well, hold on,
That's
hold
the
on. Wait,
answer.
you're doing this very weird
done
thing that
it.
you love to
I've
do.
done it.
Yeah, okay. What are the gun laws like in DC, Kumar?
Very strict.
Really? That's interesting.
I don't know.
Well, of course they're not going to have guns then.
They're
Interesting.
going to overthrow the country. Tomorrow, the laws won't matter.
So, but you
And if you're going over the country, you're all in for a penny, in for a pound.
I'm just curious to wait. So you
I
think,
want to overthrow the country, but I don't want to do it with a gun charge on me.
But why was it necessarily a?
well, wait, stop.
Well, stop.
No. Back up then. You
got me.
just
Yeah,
you just
stepped
painted
in it
yourself
now,
in a corner.
buddy.
Yeah.
Stepped in it now.
So those people were fine going to jail for guns to overthrow the country, but when they tried to overthrow the country and went to jail, that's a big problem.
They were fine.
What?
They were fine.
Hold on. Well, my
going
point
to
is
jail
this.
for guns.
My point is this. If they had brought guns and gone to jail for the gun charge, his issue is who has a problem taking a gun charge if you're there to overthrow the country, right? That was your point?
My
Why
point
would you
was-
show up with no guns if you're there to overthrow
and
the
go to jail?
Yeah.
I mean,
my point though is like the people that did go to jail, he's going to say shouldn't be in jail, but he's also kind of arguing that they might have been there to overthrow the government.
I think my point is the people that are hardline, this was an insurrection. We were moments from the country being overthrown. You need to dial that back, that this was a protest that got out of control.
Yeah, that's probably
They-
more
they-
likely. A protest that got out of control. People were there to voice their displeasure about Donald Trump having the election stolen from him. That's
Because
what these people
if
think.
it is an insurrection and we were at the cusp, those people have to have guns and there's push came to shove.
My understanding was that there was a group there who was
FBI.
like trying to steal Nancy Pelosi or something. No.
Well, there were people in
I
her
don't know if
office
that-
calling for her death. Yes. But again,
was
we don't,
that even true? I don't know. Who knows? But if that's true, like, yes, they didn't have guns, but they're still like stealing Nancy Pelosi.
I mean, Kamar, you're doing this weird thing where no one there was there to do any bad or harm.
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay, good.
I'm not saying
Because
that.
this is the thing. When you hear that there are people locked up for January 6th who have not had a trial, I have a big problem with that. I have a huge problem with that. Only because there's due process, Simon.
Oh, that with a trial, without a trial. Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
listen.
Yeah, yeah.
If you broke the law and they give you a sentence, like listen, if they say you did break the law, we have video evidence proof. You're going to do 2 years. What like your argument is like? Who wants to catch a gun charge? I mean,
like if you break into here's a question. If you break into the Parliament buildings and go like chill and smoke joints in the library,
Should
I'm
I
going
go
to jail.
should you go to jail?
No.
no, but hold on. See what you did was
If I
different.
lit a fire,
Wait.
if I lit a fire in the destroyed something,
See this because I'm with Kamar. Like you trespassed and you did something that legally you're allowed to do outside.
No, but it's a like as the Parliament buildings, no matter what,
People's house.
it's going to be a
People's
capital
house, dog.
offense.
People's
you
house,
know?
dog. People's house.
You know this.
No.
You know that one
public.
place.
It's public.
Stop this.
Serious.
What's someone's house though?
it.
What are you
real.
talking about? What's
No,
someone's
but we
house?
know.
The apartment buildings. It's your house. It's my house. It's the people's house.
No,
I
it's
see what you're
not.
saying. It's so
Okay.
stupid.
Anyways, it's not someone's house.
Yes, you're allowed to go in there.
Okay. But fine.
Not everywhere.
You were before the shooting. The guy.
Yeah, before the guy
So
went in,
sorry.
yeah.
Is the White House different than the? Yes, it is.
They didn't go to the
It's
White House.
Parliament
They didn't go to the
buildings.
White House. They didn't go to the
They
White
didn't
House.
go to the White House. Where did they go?
The Congress. The big
So it
thing.
is the equivalent.
Salem M shows. Right.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Agree
I
to
don't
agree.
care.
Agree
back
to agree.
back to UFOs.
So he brought up the story about how it's easier to teach a oil man to be an astronaut than an astronaut to be an oil man.
Yeah.
No, you don't remember that?
There's a mine. They want to mine outer space.
It was a movie
Yeah, I
called
saw this movie, Armageddon.
No,
Armageddon.
so it's
I
easier
don't
to
wanna
train the
close
miners to be
my
astronauts
eyes.
than to train the astronauts to be miners.
But they weren't miners, they were oil.
I don't want to
Whatever.
fall
back-
asleep.
back
I
to-
still miss
to what
you, baby.
Have you seen the movie?
Of course.
It's the JREE movie game. The time has come.
I want to know what is going to happen.
Why are you talking through the
that brings to guess the budget in the box
fucking headphones on?
We all know they
You're
won't
playing the
guess the
themes.
year, and the Patreons are the real winners here at the JREE movie game.
I didn't know we were doing the movie game. I was in the middle of a fucking sentence.
It was the movie game.
You had your headphones on, you'd know.
Where
And then I
Matt
tell you to put your
Simon
headphones on. You're like, you're playing the theme song. Yeah, asshole, and you're talking through it.
go head to head to find out what year a movie came out, how much it cost to make, and how much it made at the box office. This week we're doing Armageddon, directed by Michael Bay, starring Bruce Willis, Billy Bob Thornton, Liv Tyler, Ben Affleck, Will Patton, Peter Stormare, Keith David, Steve Buscemi. Have either of you guys seen the movie The Santa Claus?
With Tim Allen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really funny. It holds up, despite what you think. Have you ever seen it, Simon? The Santa Claus?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Simon, do you have a year ready yet?
No. What even movie are we doing?
Armageddon.
What podcast are you doing?
Where have you been?
I'm sorry, I was writing down the thought that I was speaking when you fucking jammed on the movie game.
We didn't jam it on. Kamar said it. You
Go
guys
Go back and listen, man.
Okay, well,
He acts like he's new to the show.
The movie Armageddon.
Yeah, I got it.
A
Armageddon.
massive meteor shower destroys the orbiting space shuttle Atlantis before entering the atmosphere and bombarding Boston, Philadelphia, Moncton, Halifax, Newfoundland, and New York City. The latter being extensively damaged. The meteors were pushed out by the asteroid belt by collision from a rogue comet, which also dislodged a massive asteroid the size of Texas.
This fucking weirdo.
NASA learns it will impact Earth in 18 days, potentially wiping out all life on Earth. NASA devises a plan to drill a deep hole into the asteroid into which they will insert
Will you stop?
a nuclear bomb to destroy it.
You have a year, Simon, at least?
Yeah.
What
got
year
a
do you have?
1994.
No, 98.
Whoa! 1998. We're in play. Oh, yeah. True or
ready with
false?
the rest?
You watched Showgirls last week and jerked off to it.
Dude, we have Pornhub.
false.
What the hell would you ever need to jerk off to that shit for?
Okay, I'm just going to throw this out there. I think it cost $38 million to make,
Yeah.
and it grossed $162.
I
said it cost $60 million and it made $438.
Oh, Matt, you're close. $140 million budget.
Holy fuck. I was going to say
guessed
100 and I was like,
budget.
that's too
Wow,
high.
Yeah.
Box office $553.7 million.
Jesus Christ. I bet high and I was still 120 million off.
That's a lot of cabbage.
What a terrible movie, too.
Well, it was weird because it's that thing where Hollywood comes out with other movies. Deep Impact, I believe, was another one.
I don't know. It has nothing to do with that. It was still just a bad movie.
Okay, it was corny. It was cheesy. It had the song,
Dude, it was so bad.
but it was that typical Michael Bay.
Liv Tyler,
The,
Ben Affleck.
what's it called? Flashlight.
It was a Michael Bay movie?
Michael
Yeah.
Bay. Yeah.
Wow.
Michael Bay.
It's interesting.
Michael Bay. That's the movie game.
Michael Bay. Okay, Simon, back to what you were...
No, I don't want to do it anymore. It's fine.
He talked about the story, the proverb or whatever it is of the blind man touching the elephant.
Yeah.
I always love that one. Do you remember that one, Simon?
No, I don't. The blind man touching the elephant.
One blind man touches the elephant and thinks it's a tree because he's touching the leg. The other one touches the ear and he thinks it's a blanket. I don't know what it is,
The
but
third one grabs onto his dick. What's the punchline?
and thinks it's a hammer. Yeah.
Is that the punchline?
No, you fuck the lion or the elephant. That's the punchline.
You fuck the elephant.
Yeah.
No, I was going to digress to, I don't understand. Trump is out there telling that he's going to double the oil fracking and the this and that. Like, where does Elon fit into all of this?
I'm the new head of fracking, actually. We're going to frack Tesla cars out of the ground from now on.
I'm very confused.
Well, what does Elon have to do with it? Elon doesn't give a shit about anything. Like he's in there to ensure that Donald Trump will allow him to keep selling electric cars because that's his whole business model. And if Donald Trump tomorrow decided, hey, you know what? Fuck electric cars and fuck this initiative. Then Elon loses all of his charging stations. He loses fucking all this
Imagine
funding.
Trump did that. Elon donates $68 billion to the election or whatever the fuck.
And then
it
Trump
was,
just
and
fucks
then
him so hard.
Just fucks
Yeah.
him so hard. And then he was like, "Well, what did you think was going to happen? I'm Trump." It's like the scorpion and the frog.
Yeah.
You know that adage, Kamar?
Yes.
And he turns to him and says, "You're going to kill us both." And he
nature.
says, "What can I do? I'm a
scorpion,
scorpion."
yeah.
He's Trump. Like, I feel like that's got to happen.
A group of blind men heard that a strange animal called an elephant had been brought to the town, but none of them were aware of the shape and form.
You're gonna read us the actual fucking.
Don't do this.
The first person whose hand landed on the trunk said, "This is a snake." Another who's reached out for its ear thought this was a fan, and so on and so on.
And so on and so on.
What the fuck is the moral?
Don't go blind. You get trampled by an elephant.
Don't go blind. So Joe suggested if it is UFO or real alien stuff, and the government is trying to spare the fear, do they have that right? Is it information that every human being on the planet, and that was Ryan Gray's point, we all have a right to know this? Do you agree or disagree, Simon?
The right to know. I mean, I just assume the government has all sorts of secrets they're not telling us. So
And what gives
why
someone
is
a right
this
to
one
decide what you
different?
should know or not know?
I mean, I guess my problem is I agree that we should know, but my problem is like during COVID, which seemed like a very innocuous sort of thing, immediately toilet paper was unavailable. And so mass
immediately,
hysteria.
but that was just one time.
Yeah, it was never actually
That wasn't a
unavailable.
constant.
Okay, but there was a time where there was like a week where you went to the grocery store and there was no toilet paper, correct? Yes, that did happen.
Yeah, because everybody bought up all the toilet paper.
So again, what I'm saying, I only bring this up because mass hysteria is a real thing and it can be hard to curb, and price gouging is a real thing. And so if tomorrow they were like, hey, guess what? These actually are from another planet, then you don't fucking know. Well, I just like, you're a Trump guy. Like tomorrow, everyone could just take up arms and be like, no more government. It's fucking, we're done with this. Then what?
Listen, yeah, I don't know. I think that they should probably tell us, but at the same time, I know there's plenty of things they don't tell us. So why would this one be different than where they're storing the nukes, or you know what I mean?
It's just naive almost.
How about
It
this,
just
Kamar?
seems a naive thing for Joe to say. Like you're a
Graves.
grown up.
Ryan
You get
Graves.
it.
No, Ryan. This was Ryan Graves' point. Don't you fucking talk shit about Joe.
No. Joe was all over this. He was like, we have a right to know. First of all, you could find out in like, how long did you say?
Yeah, Joe could make two phone calls.
2 months until Trump gets in there, some weird amount of time. And then Joe will be able to find out everything he wants to know about everything.
Yeah, but Joe also thought the first time Trump got in that immediately he would get all the JFK answers, and he's gotten zero. So I'm not certain that what we're looking for is going to come out the day Trump takes office.
Here's the thing with Trump, okay?
Yeah.
Everybody within the system hates him.
Mm-hmm.
He might as well go looking for all. Like,
I
if
agree.
you were a normal president, you would say, I'm not going digging into the UFO thing because I don't want to get assassinated by the FBI or the CIA or whoever.
Yeah.
Trump is already going to be
They've already tried
at
to kill
risk,
him. Yeah.
you know?
If I were him, I'd be like, why can't I go to the 12th floor?
That's right. Go do everything.
Yeah, I'll take the stairs.
There you go.
Yeah, like literally. You have nothing else to lose. They already tried to kill you, if that's real, which I believe it is. But
Well, no, and I also assume that the military-industrial complex is not looking forward to Trump being in there. Like, I don't know what kind of damage you can do in 4 years, and we've never seen it because no president has, since JFK, has ever tried to do. They've all just been war monkeys, you know, or whatever you call it.
warmonger
No, there's a term. It's
or
not
dog, I don't know.
Anyways, my point is, that's always been the way. So if Trump comes in, I don't know, can he do damage in 4 years? Maybe
What's weird to me, though,
maybe
is
if
like-
he had 8 years to do it, he could do some real damage.
Does the military-industrial complex really even give a shit who's president?
Yes, I think they do. Because usually, Matt, no matter what side,
Yeah, I get it.
they control.
Listen, I understand that,
but they don't control Trump. Or
We like to think.
we like to think they don't control Trump.
I think you're missing my point completely. It has nothing to- it has-
Elon controls Trump.
I don't think it has anything to do with the U.S. ever actively being involved in a war. I think they make money. I think the U.S. military-industrial complex sells arms to all sides of the war. And I think as long as there is some conflict, I actually think that they would probably benefit a great deal from Donald Trump being in. Because he'll pull out, let's say he does pull out most American troops abroad. Things get unstable abroad pretty quickly. And then there's a lot of arms to sell.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Also, let me just real quick. If they are as powerful as we believe them to be, couldn't we argue that like they wanted Trump in, that they would never, that there is no world where their guy doesn't get in or someone that they want in?
I mean, again, we would think that was the case, but hopefully it isn't. And Trump is that guy.
I hope.
If that is the case, I would imagine that they definitely don't. They don't control him, right? So theoretically, I don't know, man. I've lost my train of thought.
Because this guy was stupid. No, he's not stupid. I like Ryan Graves, but when he said I did not see the UFO, I realized he's not the guy.
He's a wannabe. He's like Simon. All of his pilot buddies have seen one, and he's just like, why have I not seen one?
I was under the impression that he had seen one.
And if you found out he hadn't, would that affect you?
I mean, no, not because I assumed that he then saw it on radar. He was definitely involved on some level with these fucking things.
Yeah, this is a big deal. Trump wants to raise NATO to 5% of GDP from 2%. So that's not really a bad thing.
This is where I was going. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The military-industrial complex, Matt, yes, they're making money all the time, no matter what, through the proxy wars and all of that. But what they really want more than anything else, and the way they make the most money, is when the people get behind them in a war.
Want them to make money.
That is the ultimate cash cow for them. It's the time where they can make the most money, they can gain the most power, they can get rules in place that will never go away. That is best case scenario for them. Hopefully with Trump, that's not what's going to happen. That is what's happened with every other president who has been in there. Was there a president who was not involved in some sort of war in the past? I don't even know how
Jimmy
long.
Carter, Trump.
Anyways, that's why I think that they're pissed right now that Trump would be in there. If he really is that drain the swamp guy.
But 5%
and he's actually doing it.
5% increase in NATO to 5%. That's the cash in the bank for them.
Well, he's already pulling out of the.
I don't get it though. How is he doing it? He hates NATO. Why is he
Paris
increasing
Accord.
it?
This is what I'm saying. We obviously don't know anything, but I'm a Trump guy, and I'm like, when he comes out and says that sounds like it's aggression. We already know that NATO is seen this way to increase spending, to give, or maybe that's a compromise for the increased spending on NATO. The military-industrial complex gets their money, and they don't have to fight wars.
Right, and then everybody's happy.
I mean, just to...
Because it sounds like what you're saying is strengthening my thing. That,
Yeah, absolutely.
That he's a bad guy.
Well, no,
not that he's a bad guy, but that he
we
is still
know
going to keep the
Russia's
military.
reacting because they feel NATO's encroaching. If NATO's upping their spending, then that's... We wanted him to break up NATO. And everyone go back to their own country and fend for themselves and have treaties with other countries.
No.
We didn't want that.
Who said that?
That's what I want.
What's the difference though? A treaty with another country is NATO. That's all it is.
Well, no, it's a weird treaty because I understand if you're in proximity, but like us caring about what happens across so far away is we're compassionate, but we don't have the money to do that, but we say we can do it. Whereas if you're neighbors, of course, we look out for each other. I mean, obviously, we're raised to think that NATO's the best thing, and maybe it is. I think we argued about this last time, and it was.
Well, no, and you're pretending like there's. Well, okay, if you know what, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I don't want
we'll do this in
to.
the
I don't want to
post-show.
have this
We'll do this
argument
post-show.
again about whether NATO as an idea is not a bad one.
No, never said that.
It's just been co-opted.
The execution
so if he,
has failed, yeah.
okay. So we're in a
Well, we can't say it's the problem is we can't say it's failed because there has not been a quote unquote world war
we could say it failed because all the countries involved with it, well, not all of them are struggling massively right now for some reason. Germany, France, Canada.
Yeah,
trying to think of
it's
someone
immigration. I hate to say it.
It's a number of factors, but
That being the biggest one.
yeah. Like, I was going to talk about this with the Blagovich, but whatever. It doesn't make sense if we owe $500 billion that we're borrowing money to give to Ukraine. It's one thing if we have, you know what, we have a surplus.
Yeah, it's only if you have extra
To
money.
borrow money to give to something else is insanity, and you're not allowed to do it as a human being. I think it might be illegal.
No, you can't do it. What are you talking about?
But that's what's going on right now. So
Yeah, it's crazy. And what they're saying is like, we want to help the homeless, but we don't want to give them our own money.
and for that reason, that's why I think NATO is failing.
So we're just going to borrow from
I think sometimes
wherever to give to whoever.
I think sometimes what you're forgetting is I think the goal often used to be we're going to borrow money, we're going to give it to Ukraine.
Invest.
Yeah, and they're going to give us a shitload of I don't know, minerals or
women,
whatever the
they're
fuck.
women.
Sure, whatever the fuck it is, you were going to get in return more than you gave.
There should still never be a time where you borrow to lend. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
How do you think our economy works?
And it's not even
No,
lending.
it's
It's not
true.
even lending.
Two things
It's,
can be true at the same
it's
time.
borrow to give.
Well, that's how our government works.
It's fucking, it's,
madness, yeah.
bonkers.
And-
That is madness.
Anyways, I wouldn't recommend watching this episode unless you were scared and this guy puts you to ease that they're not hot bombers, dirty bomb out there. By the way, do you know, we've talked about this before, at what height they detonated the Hiroshima bomb?
It's way the fuck up.
It was half a kilometer.
Yeah. I mean, that's not way
So
the
what
fuck
the
up.
fuck would have happened if they had detonated that
Well, no.
on the ground?
Less,
Less.
because a lot of it would go into the ground. There'd be a big impact.
Well, there'd be a crater where
It would absorb
Osaka.
it.
Where was it?
Nagasaki.
Nagasaki.
And,
All the
Hiroshima.
radiation, all the heat comes straight down on everyone.
I thought it blew out.
No.
into the-
Above.
I mean, half a kilometer is actually not that far up. If you
It actually is
No, it is 500. What?
500 meters.
Yeah. Well, it's not that high up.
Dude, there's a crazy. I was watching. I rewatched Age of Ultron, the Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Totally had forgotten it even existed. Ultron is played by James Spader. He voices it. Anyways, there's a scene in it where, because he's like a mega computer guy, and he takes over the airwaves, let's call them, and he launches all the nukes in the world, and you just see the whole map is just fucking red things, and then that's
Yeah,
it,
lights out.
man. Yeah.
1,600 feet. I guess that even sounds.
That's how far it goes out.
No, that's how.
1600.
No,
That's
it's
how high above the.
Did you see Nate Bargatze
Well,
on
wait,
Saturday Night Live?
1,600 feet. That's
Above
not
the
that-
ground. That's what I
that's
said.
not
That's
gonna
really
That's
not
not
as
that
high up
far
as.
at all.
50,000 centimeters.
Did you
So
see
then
Nate
we're-
Bargatze on Saturday Night Live?
I give this a 1.
Okay, fine. Did you see Nate? I give it a 1 too. Did you see Nate Bargatze on Saturday Night
When
Live?
he's like George
George
Washington. Oh,
Washington.
yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Fucking incredible.
I give this
Why? No one knows.
a 2.5 just out of respect for Ryan Graves, but I thought it was trash.
Animals will be meat as well as animals. Beef will be cow. What about chicken? That will remain chicken. You give it a 1, Simon? Would you give it?
No, I give it a 2.5 out of respect for Ryan.
Oh yeah,
Graves.
out of respect. Yeah, okay.
For everyone, sir.
But I preface that with it was trash.
Yeah, not a great episode. He's on the clock.
But
big
I
time.
would like to point out that if we are wrong about this being ours or theirs or someone else's, then it means it's aliens, and there's a lot of shit going on.
I mean, listen, how about this? Just in closing, Joe always talks about how alien sightings started heavily after the nuke, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there's 2 arguments to be made. The first could be that we've come up technologically with something else that would bring them back, whether it's AI, this quantum computer, whatever, or B, quietly, all the powers that be are preparing for some sort of nuclear, which again would bring them back, right? The alarm bells would go off. They're all about to nuke
if
each
that's
other
what it
again.
is.
I like your first one. Yeah. I like the idea that this could be the second thing that has brought them back around, or this could be the government is getting ready to do their stupid operation,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And this is the first step in it. Let people see these drone things. We don't know what the fuck they are. Next is going to be a, flyover at a very public event. And then you have the mothership drop over the White House.
Again, it still scares me that it could all just be the U.S. government, and it could just be a ploy to lock us all in our homes, keep us afraid, martial law, whatever.
If it was an alien invasion.
Well, think about it. You've seen those drone things in China where they have like 1,000 drones in the sky and they make it look like something else.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think the problem is so many people have guns in the
Those have
States
got to be better
that
than fireworks.
They're just going to go out and it's going to be total chaos with people trying to attack whatever they feel is this thing oppressing them.
Be it resolved, those are better than fireworks.
Like it was a virus before, Maddie.
Yeah.
So there was nothing to attack. No matter how mad you were, you can't go out and shoot COVID.
No, but I'm
you
not
know?
saying that. That's not even what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they send out some drone show above Washington, D.C. that for all intents and purposes, everyone in Washington and everyone watching on the news worldwide, we all see the same thing. It looks like an alien over Washington. Then it vanishes for months, not to be seen again. There's nothing to shoot at. There's just, we need to buckle down.
This happens and then it's gone.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like a false flag event. You know what I mean? Just the fear.
I don't think that's enough.
Maybe not. But again, they always test these things,
Yeah,
right? What's
yeah,
enough?
yeah.
Was COVID enough? How much can we take? How little will they give?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I mean, it would be an interesting first step. Like Joe always says, that's how I would do it.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take 5 minutes. We're going to pay a bill, and we will be right back.
And we're back.
We're back.
Thank you to BetterHelp. Thank you to all the people out there who are listening. Thank you to Joe Rogan for being...
For never sending the cease and desist. Joe, you're the real one. You're the fucking real one.
For being relevant. That's, I think, what we should thank him the most for.
It's Christmas, not Thanksgiving, buddy. 2243, Julian Lennon.
What an asshole.
Who died and made you interesting?
Good one. This podcast stank.
Skin cancer, definitely check that out. The moles, do you notice anything like that?
Dude, I have like a Fu Manchu mole on my shoulder that will have to get. It's fucking huge.
It's
and I've
matured with you?
I've nearly ripped it off like a bunch of times.
Get it checked out.
Look at this thing. It's fucking huge.
28 years later trailer, you've all seen it.
I have not seen it.
Haven't seen it.
Looks good.
I did see the trailer for season 2 of The Last of Us.
Oh, I didn't see that either.
It's weird that all this end of days, I should say it's weird, but it's instead of everything talking about a meteor or deep impact, now it's just collapses society somewhat.
Well, 28 days later was a virus, was it not?
Yeah.
That's what turned everyone to zombies. So that's very like realistic, fitting to kind of what we just went through, right? Like
Well,
I
The
know
Last of Us is the same.
I know COVID was a nothing. Last of Us is a fungus, is it not?
Yeah, it's a cordyceps. But the idea was that it came from like a grain factory, right?
no,
Like, which is even.
It's cool. It's a really cool idea. And
Dude, I'm watching it again. The scene where they like the military guy from the Philippines brings in the virologist, and she's drinking her tea, and he explains how everyone died and how they got bit and what happened, and her hand starts shaking with the tea, and she puts it down, and she's like, "Why am I here?" And he's like, "Well, you're the best at this. Like, we need a vaccine or something that'll help." And she just looks at him and is like, "There's no vaccine. You just get a bomb, just a big fucking bomb,
I don't
and just
remember any
blow."
of this.
She says you have to blow the whole city up, and his face is just. Dude, the reason all that works, Kamar, is because after COVID, everyone realizes that like that thin veneer of society can crumble like so easily.
and yet everybody's totally forgotten. I see people coughing without covering their mouths, and you know.
Oh yeah, you were a real mask Nazi.
No, I don't.
Bubble
the
boy.
mask I didn't like, but there were some things like being clean and
No, it's
not coughing in other people's directions. Like I get that.
you're missing my point. You because you had to wear the mask, whenever you saw someone else not wearing the mask, you were extra. I remember you coming in and being like, this fucking guy at Shoppers, it's the rule, just wear the fucking mask.
Well, it was, look, it was never a, it was just slowing shit down. I just want to get in and get out. And if there's going to be a big argument at the cash and I have to wait, like,
But now I totally disagree. I agreed with you at the time. Like, listen, if we all have to do it, just do it. Let's get through this. Now I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah, because
everyone that didn't wear the mask, good for them.
That wasn't true at all.
Well, that's the point. Yeah, anyone that didn't get vaxxed, didn't wear a mask, good for you. A+. You're way better than I am.
They sold us a bill of goods that like
never again.
Everybody working together was going to get things open faster. That's not at all what happened.
I've heard people say even easier.
Even easier, sorry.
Like the idea that because of what happened, if something arose again, people say, "Whoa, no, you screwed up." But their argument was like, "People, yeah, we know exactly what to do. Don't worry, we got this."
Like to do the whole thing over again?
Exactly.
Oh, dude, I would be really fucking disappointed.
But
at the same time, I hear what Matt's saying. Like, yeah, this one was a total fucking. It was a total sham. You know what I mean? A total fugazi of a situation. But these things are possible.
Of course.
And it could have been something terrible. And there could be another one that's terrible. And they cried wolf, and now no one's going to fucking believe them. So even if there is another, like a deadly pandemic, it's going to destroy so many people right away because we're going to be too busy fighting against the idea of masks. We should be staying in our fucking houses, but dude, nobody's going to believe it.
I'll die first.
You'll die because you'll run out there.
Because I will be so staunchly against whatever the government is telling me.
And I'm with you, Matt. I won't.
I'm just like,
but
fool me twice, shame on me.
I will stay in my house for the first 2 weeks and just see what pans out.
Oh,
and
sure.
then I'll go out without a mask. Yeah, exactly.
Like, or the solution might be like an adult solution, like you got to blow the whole city up.
I miss that. Frankly,
as long as I can be in the city, that's fine.
Some people have to die to cut this off in the past.
COVID was probably the best Christmas ever.
How so? Oh, you didn't have to go anywhere?
Just you're with your family. Everybody's like there. I don't know. It was like a whole thing, you know? I mean, not for everyone, I guess, but.
I actually think I had like the worst case of COVID on Christmas. On Christmas Day. Remember that first year?
You know what? You've been sick on multiple Christmases, haven't you?
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
You're a very Christmas sickly boy.
Yeah, it sucks.
You're like Tiny Tim.
That's me.
That should be your nickname. Tiny Tim.
Hello.
You think we can make that fly, Kamar?
Yeah, for sure.
TT?
Julian Lennon saw a UFO when he was a kid with his dad.
Tim Floyd.
That had to bother you, right?
Sorry, go ahead. I missed that. I was making fun of you still.
Say it again, Kamar.
Say it again, yeah.
Julian Lennon saw a UFO when he was hanging out with his dad.
Yeah, I mean, they both saw it. I've heard that...
that didn't bum you out when he said that?
Why?
That not only does he get to grow up John Lennon's son, he's also seen a UFO.
Yeah, you know...
Maybe he has a farm where he watches animals fuck. Like, I don't know.
When I hear somebody say they've seen a UFO, there's no... I don't feel a way towards them. I don't feel...
There's no jealousy.
What's the word? Jealousy. Thank you, Matt. I immediately am just like, good. This is just reinforcing...
Someone's seen it.
When I see somebody in a nice house or a nice car or anything better than me, immediate jealousy.
Jealousy, okay. Yeah,
I'm not above it. I'm within it. I'm below it. I'm just saying when it comes to UFOs or like Bigfoot... I'm not jealous of anyone who's seen Bigfoot. I don't even know if I do want to see Bigfoot from a distance, but I don't want to see Bigfoot the way I hear most of these guys describing the way they see
Like if you're
Bigfoot.
on a hilltop with binoculars.
Yeah.
That's like best case scenario.
Or even like there's a giant chasm between us and then like he can't get across.
You've just crossed a wooden bridge that's broken, and you've climbed up to safety, and you look back, and Bigfoot's standing there,
He's
angry,
right there,
salivating,
you know, shaking his fist at me.
Don't ever come back.
I love that. But if there's any, like, if it's within like 40 feet, because who knows how far Bigfoot can jump? I don't want to be the guy who finds out. You know?
God no.
But I'm telling you, listen, I know you guys make fun of me for listening to like Bigfoot encounters. And granted, some of these people
are absolute yahoos.
batshit
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Some of them are liars. Some of them are not. You know when somebody's telling you the truth.
Okay.
For the most part. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and some of these people, there's no, first of all, if
about
you're,
drugs?
if you're not crazy,
Yeah.
okay, if you're
Yeah.
not crazy or
Yeah.
on drugs or some sort of egomaniac, you're just a normal person, there is zero for you to gain from this. Meaning, like, there's no notoriety. You're not going on this podcast and telling this story to, you know, maybe nobody. Who knows how many people listen to some of these shows? I might be like one of 50 listeners. You're not going on there to make money. If anything, if anybody finds out about it, you're being ridiculed. Like, there's no upside to this if you're not crazy or need this like reinforcement. But again, some of these shows, like, first of all, you could tell your story, it could never make it on the air. If the guy doesn't believe you, he's probably not going to run your story. You know?
No. Yeah, content creators are always. They'll
I
run
mean,
anything.
some of these guys, I listen to some that the guys are pretty discerning about who they put on. They're not putting on like woohoo guys. You know what I mean? These are normal people who have just had an encounter. They're not. Anyways, listen, I don't want to digress too much into Bigfoot, but the fact that all of these people all over the place see this, are we really, what other thing is like that, Matt, that doesn't exist, that all of these people see that ends up not being true? You tell me, please. Like, I'm waiting.
I mean, listen, I'm not going to do this. I don't care. You're probably right. You're probably right about everything. I bet everything exists. Ghosts, ghouls, demons, witches. I don't fucking care
And out
anymore.
of all of those things,
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to believe in something supernatural. We're talking about undiscovered ape species. How many species in the world are there that we haven't discovered, or that we discover and then are like, holy fuck, we didn't know this existed? Or we had heard people talk about this, but we never thought it was real.
Yeah, it's just
It happens all the time.
not in North America and not giant apes. Just give me that.
Well, it hasn't yet.
Okay, but just go back to what I said. Just because it hasn't yet over what, 2,000 years?
But hold on a sec. In the jungle, before apes were discovered,
jungle.
like, all I'm saying is it's not that far from a gorilla. What we're asking you to believe, it's not a fucking It's like, what's something that's so far off? It's not like a giant bat creature, which even that doesn't seem that far off. Like,
Well, first of all,
it's not a fucking werewolf.
just listen to me. I get it. Saying anything we already have, but bigger, like, yeah, I can wrap my head around that.
Yeah. It's a species that already exists. It just doesn't exist in this.
Either way, he didn't talk about Bigfoot,
No, you're
and
right.
you're
I'm
trying to
sorry.
ram Bigfoot
No,
down our
I'm
fucking
not.
throats. We're on John Lennon's son here.
I'm not. I'm sorry. I digress.
That's where you're supposed to jump in,
Please
shithead.
go ahead. Come on.
I kept thought he was
He's
gonna wrap it up.
watching football. He just doesn't care.
John Lennon actually had a wife named Cynthia Lennon that is Julian's mother,
Yeah, I was telling Simon that, yeah.
who,
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought Yoko was his
who
mom.
he left for Yoko after, and then left for a May Pang, a 23-year-old.
I thought the whole time this was the other Lennon.
Yeah, Sean.
Sean Lennon, yeah.
He's worth $50 million. Well earned. Lives in Monaco.
Well,
He's only worth $50 million.
Only.
what are you talking about,
Yo,
Simon?
how else could he?
Well, I assume that John Lennon's people in perpetuity make an ungodly amount of money due to
No, didn't Michael Jackson buy the
Beatles.
Beatles money? He
And
bought
he-
their
the
whole catalog.
masters.
And he spends a lot of money because he makes a lot of money.
The Masters, that's where you own them.
He lives in
Is that how
Monaco.
that
That's where you
works?
own everything. The publishing and I think,
Yeah, well, I know he lives in Monaco. We were just talking about it, how this guy was telling us how when he goes out for a motorcycle ride, he just happens to get some really good pictures, believe it or not. in the fucking Alps.
Corso sounds like an interesting place. I'll say that.
Corso?
Corso. That was the island he talked about.
Yeah.
That was the most beautiful place. He seems like he's a bit of a charmed life. Walt
real down to earth.
Walt Disney's got to be the biggest TTP or PPT ever, right?
I think Walt.
Entertainment for the children to make up for the horrible things we did.
Well, I think he was a pretty horrible guy, Walt Disney, and I think he was part of. You're gonna think I'm crazy here, but I think Walt Disney was like one step away from the Nazis that came over in Paperclip. He was like the American version of whatever they were doing over there. That was exactly and maybe they hadn't gotten around to doing it yet because they had so many plans that never got to be put into.
I bet.
But remember Tarantino's movie there? Like one of those Nazi guys was like a huge film buff. Just like what's his name? Not Himmler, but the other one was like really into occult. Like they just all had these
Yeah, they all had side projects.
projects that they were sewing into the
To Nazi lore.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking brain dead.
You're on
today.
fire,
Yeah,
Simon.
that's what I'm hearing, right?
It's the later podcast.
As a fellow photographer, did you appreciate
No,
Julian
we
Lennon?
hated it.
Well, first of all, I don't consider
Photography
myself
side?
a photographer.
Because you don't develop your pictures?
No, that has nothing to do with
I
anything.
think that has everything to do with everything.
I think.
Wait a minute,
I think developing pictures is a big thing. I agree with that.
Wait. Okay. First off, we mostly live in a digital world. I print my photos, if that's what you're asking. So
I guess the rules of engagement have changed.
Printing is fine. I just think it's important to like put it
I
into.
totally disagree.
But you don't.
I have Lightroom.
It's a different time.
Lightroom, first off, is
Darkroom.
No, that's a dark room is where you used to. Lightroom is
yes.
the program in your computer that you use to touch up photos after. It is probably a million times more robust than what you can do in a dark room
Good
developing
use
your own
of robust.
photos.
No, Julian Lennon
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
use that.
I mean, I totally
give a
agree with
fuck.
everything you're saying. There's something about, and I don't know what it is, Matt.
Preach.
There is magic to those old ones you develop in your fucking little
Exposure.
closet. There is,
listen, I'm
whatever
not
it is,
negatives.
there's something about it. It's magic that was
Simon,
created that you
film-
don't get today with the
Digital.
AI cameras.
You know what's so funny is I could go with my camera and I could take a photo and I could, using the software, make it look just like that warm feeling he's looking for, that fuzzy, warm. There's a million presets to make it look just like Fuji
Lightroom?
stock film. Yes. But the point is this,
Available
wait,
on all platforms.
either way,
Yeah, you're probably right.
I don't consider myself a photographer. Just because you own a camera doesn't make you a fucking photographer.
No, according to Julian Lennon, it does. Because he doesn't know anything about photography. He just takes pictures, doesn't even know ISO or anything. Also, he is self-taught and can't actually play the music he makes because he writes a song, records it, and then never plays it again and forgets about it. A very strange, peculiar
That
man.
is the. I couldn't hate something more than that.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, I don't
couldn't.
think this guy's a musician either.
I couldn't hate
Grammy
something more than that.
Yeah, we all despise him, apparently.
Like I take
no fault of
photographs,
his.
I develop them, and then I burn them.
Yeah.
Like, well, fuck you.
He takes pictures of clouds.
Kamar, I was telling Simon too, like, I can't remember who he was talking about at one point.
Himself.
No, told him to show up and take photos at this like event.
The Pope.
And, that's pretty big in photography. Access.
Yes, absolutely. The person on the
It's
front
probably
stage, whatever.
I
it
would
is.
say, I would say other than like sheer, like just being born with a good eye,
Or
access is
a Beatle as a dad.
And I was saying to Matt, like, if you give me a camera and send me into the Alps, I will fucking take some cool pictures, just like out of sheer luck.
You will, Simon.
I actually think I'm a pretty good photographer. Not like at the actual art of taking the picture, but of finding the shot.
no, but like as an example,
To
there's
separate yourself, anyone, anywhere beautiful could take a nice picture.
That's what I'm thinking.
There's a photographer I follow on YouTube. He's a weird dude. His name is Jared Polin, and he'll invite young kids from Philly to like places where they wouldn't normally have access, and he'll give them like a $25,000 camera setup and say, shoot this Philadelphia Phillies game with me. And again, like some of the shots they come back with are fucking incredible. Now, half of it is just that he's picked kids that are into photography, but that don't have the means to do it.
No, I totally
but the
get
other
it.
half is like, yeah, now they're at a Phillies game where no one else gets to go, and they have a $50,000 zoom lens and a camera that's worth 20 grand. Why are you staring at me like
My
this?
favorite photographers are the ones that take did you follow the what's his fucking name? What are you doing?
It's the worst.
He's a like a cholo, not cholo.
Yeah, it's Esteban Oriol.
Oriole.
Yeah.
Some of those pictures are just so
Mr.
fucking
Cartoon.
cool. Yeah. Well, no, he's the graffiti guy. They're different dudes. They're buddies. They work together. One photographed the other's work.
No, I'm pretty sure Esteban Oriol is Mr. Cartoon.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Mr. Cartoon is a tattoo graffiti guy.
Yeah.
And I think Esteban Oriol is the guy who took the pictures of his graffiti. And I could be wrong. I've been wrong about other things. Anyways, what were we talking about?
Oh yeah, Mark Machado. Fine. Yeah, you're right.
Say it again, Maddie. It makes me
I'm never
all
saying it
warm
again. You're a
inside.
piece of shit.
The real photographer is
Either
the
way, I knew it
guy
was
underneath
Esteban.
the black thing.
But sorry, just one other thing. Just on that same note,
Yeah.
like, you know who else I love? The guy from who took the pictures for Dogtown.
Stesic.
Stesic. There's another, but perfect example. And you know what pictures are incredible? Are pictures that Allen Ginsberg took of the Beats,
Yeah.
the Beat Poets. He captured like a fucking these moments, man.
I have 3 photos from those 3 there. The one of the kid jumping over the puddle.
Love
The
it.
2 people kissing in the subway.
I always thought it was a skateboarder, but yeah.
And then the skateboarder up there. There's those 3.
No, but the kid jumping over the puddle,
Yeah.
I never like looked close at it, and I always thought it was a little kid kick flipping over
Oh,
the
no,
puddle.
it's just a kid jumping over
But
the
yeah,
puddle.
no, I really like that.
Anyway, that guy is an incredible what the fuck is his name? Van Style? Dude, I'm retarded right now. Anyway, him and 13th Witness. 13th Witness is Futura's son.
Yeah.
Incredible photographer.
Really, eh?
Now he only does, he's like Lewis Hamilton's personal photographer, so he just travels around with him. But dude,
I'll never remember the name, but there's this woman who would go around to all the the sideshows and take these
That's a
pictures.
great place to take photos.
They're so cool, man. My mom had this coffee table book when we were growing up, just of all her art.
Mm-hmm.
And like, but you know, when you just capture like a mood, she had that, you know?
it's funny because when I got an iPhone, that's my first camera ever, really. And obviously the first iPhones were shit. All I would take was like landscape photos, like clouds or like a sunset or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I got a real camera and I was like, I don't have the right lens to take landscape. So I've been forced to like shoot portraits and people.
But
And
it's actually better.
it's better, but it's way harder.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very difficult. I will say this, it's more rewarding. Like I think anyone can take a good photo of a sunset. The sunset is it's the main star.
No, I like what you're doing when we go out and you're just taking all these pictures. Like, that's what I always thought when we were growing up. I was like, we need to have somebody documenting everything we're doing, because there are these moments that are so fucking cool that are just going to be forgotten to time, you know?
And
That's
it's a
why I
real
started bringing
luxury
more
that
places.
you don't have to be restricted by how much film you have in your camera.
Well, it's funny you mention that because there's like very famously, Quentin Tarantino is like such a film
Still.
snob. Yeah, like he won't shoot digital. His whole thing is like he still uses film.
Love it.
It's developed on film, and then they make it digital. But Roger Deakins, who's like an equally or more established cinematographer, like he famously was like, "Look, if you're a young filmmaker, you're crazy to use film. It's expensive as fuck. You can't see the." He's like, the reason I shoot digital, I see the dailies. I see them right here, live ISO. I see how it's going to look like in post. I can see it all right now. There's no limit to how much I can shoot. I can keep the camera rolling. Like, listen, all that stuff you're talking about, it is nice. Film is nice. There's a warmth to it, like
you have
vinyl.
to be an established artist to do it. Because even look at like a guy like Josh Whedon or whatever. Like, remember when he's telling about not Josh Whedon, I'm sorry, the guy who made Dan Snyder, Ron Snyder, whatever, who made 300.
Yeah.
And he's talking about making that movie. He's like, we had a budget of like $25.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we had to do certain things certain ways, but it ends up being a classic.
Dude, Peter Jackson famously, I mean, he did Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I
He
know.
said though he was like, the movie I wanted to make was Godzilla. He's like, and they wouldn't give me the budget I needed, so I had to make Lord of the Rings to prove that I could make a.
And then they let him
And
make
then they were
Godzilla?
like, now you can make Godzilla.
Interesting. So many people have made Godzilla.
Well, it's like one of the first films ever, right?
I'm more of a King Kong fan than a Godzilla.
Maybe it was
fan.
King Kong. Sorry, it was King Kong,
It was
not
King
Godzilla.
Kong.
Yeah, it was King Kong,
It was
not
Peter
Godzilla.
Jackson.
Yeah, my apologies.
And
yeah.
it was the one with Jack Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
I read a great tweet the other day. It said, stop remaking classics and start remaking films that had a great premise, but that were done poorly.
Yeah, I totally agree. Matt, I totally fucking agree
Yeah,
with
I
that.
read that. I
tweet.
was like, that's the
Because
idea.
that's true. We could go through right now and I could tell you, great idea for a movie, totally missed the plot. And instead they're going to make a fucking Santa Claus 16.
Yeah.
The Santa
Or
Claus.
Santa Claus, sorry.
No, the new one's called like Red One. It's got
No,
the rock in it.
it's so fucking stupid.
I love it.
Wait, is that the one you saw that you said was funny? The one with the
No,
rock?
the Santa Claus. is
The OG one.
The original, that is actually a good movie. That Red One is one of the stupidest films ever created.
Did you watch it?
It's awesome.
Not enough to have the opinion that I have, but trust me, my opinion is right, Matt.
It won't get an Oscar.
It won't
sure?
get anything. I don't think anybody liked it. Not the people,
Oh, yeah,
not
it's a
the
hit. It's a
critics,
huge hit. It's
not
a
the
huge hit.
world,
If you're a
not
kid, you love it.
movie making.
If you're a kid, you love it. It is crazy that there's a point in your life where you believe that there was a Santa Claus, or you never did.
I never did.
But
I
I
was
did.
always
I did.
hip to the
yeah,
jive.
Exactly.
I was
But some of
always
us
hip to the
actually
jive.
thought there was a guy that in a sleigh.
we were talking to this fucking curmudgeon the other day. Do you mind that I say this?
No, that's fine. You can tell him what I said. I have no problem.
This fucking piece of shit over here is gonna not let his kid believe in Santa Claus.
Love it. Love it.
Okay, you all stink.
Why?
His
I'm
kid
going
will
to
be
lie.
Prime Minister or
I'm going to
something.
lie to my kid right off the rip about some
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
pedo coming down the
That's
chimney.
a fork in the road.
I think the way I did it, now granted, I'm not a Catholic, but the way I did it was perfect. And I'll tell you, look, Santa Claus existed. He was a guy, he was out there until they didn't want to believe in him anymore. But Santa Claus didn't give any good presents. Those all came from me.
He gave
I got
tidings.
all the credit for the good presents. The socks, the fucking underwear, those were gifts from Santa.
that
And
was
that's
Santa's
what I
shit
told
gift.
you to do. So this guy, he exists. He's out there, but he stinks.
Yeah.
You know who's great?
Me.
Daddy Matt.
You're still going to find out that he does not exist. And why'd you even say he existed?
Big Daddy Matt.
Yeah. So Julian Lennon, yeah. I don't know.
I also
how
told-
their paths crossed.
Kamar, if you had a child
Yeah.
and it was a boy,
Yeah.
do you know what you would name it?
Kamar.
I hate this guy.
Why?
Who would?
He's not naming it Kamar.
Well, of course I would.
Of course you would. You would name your son Kamar Jr.
KJ.
Why not?
Okay. Because, first of all, Kamar, the
I said
name
that and you hated
Kamar
it, right?
has done, well, first of all, Matt is a totally different story. The name Kamar has done Kamar no favors in his life. If anything, it's been a giant hindrance to him.
We don't know that.
Oh, we know it.
It might be
if,
me.
if
We
your
don't know
name
that.
was Brian, you'd be a fucking successful comedian.
My name
No, you'd probably
may be
be
all
Prime
I have
Minister
going for
of
me.
Canada.
Life's not over. Anyways, let's wrap this up.
Life's not over.
22-43, Julian Lennon gets a 1. I got nothing.
That's it. That's all we're talking about, Julian Lennon. All right, fine.
Yeah, I give it a 1. I don't think he deserved to, I can truly say for once, I don't think
How
this guy
does
deserved
this
to be
guy
on the
end
show.
up on Rogan?
That's what I said. I don't know.
Was Joe at like the fucking Formula One race and bumped into him on the balcony?
Well, it's weird that what's really weird is he was like, yeah, I remember being in LA and seeing you and being like, holy shit, that's Julian Lennon. And I just thought to myself immediately, that didn't happen. There's no fucking, someone beside Joe was like, hey, that's John Lennon's son.
How would you ever know that was Julian Lennon? You would have to be some fucking fan.
I might have met this guy 10 times already.
Julian Lennon?
I'm just being facetious,
Oh.
Simon. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I consider myself a music, I guess, again, too. I'm not really a Beatles guy, but yeah, like, you know music. Would you know this guy looked like?
Yeah.
Sean Lennon, I knew what he looked like.
You knew what this guy looked like?
I liked his song,
Which one?
Too Late for Goodbyes.
He was a singer?
Grammy nominated. He sounds just like his dad. That's the one thing I will say.
Didn't he do a cover of Imagine? No?
Sure.
Okay, whatever.
I don't know. I hope not.
Were you a fan of the Beatles? Well, maybe we
Yes.
should talk about that. You were? You're probably one of those guys
No,
who
of course.
hates the Beatles.
What are you talking about? The Beatles are classic. Eleanor Rigby, get the fuck out of here.
Who was your favorite Beatle?
I don't care.
John
for any
was
of them.
younger, Paul more recently because I watched that Beatles thing.
You're not a George Harrison fan? He was kind of the coolest to me. He just decided that he wanted to go out and do all the fucking drugs and got the shaman and the sitar. And
I got my mind set on you.
that's a great song.
I wasn't making fun of it. I'm singing it. It's George Harrison, isn't it? Yeah.
What was gonna take time?
That's
Same
it.
song.
Same
Whole lot
song.
of spend. I always thought that was Paul McCartney. That's George Harrison. You're
George
right.
Harrison,
It's
yeah.
a great song. Great song.
Incredible song.
Yeah, no, I like him.
To do it, to do it.
So your
to do
least
it,
favorite
to do
was
it,
who?
To do it. Ringo, to do it right.
Now-
but I don't even care. I don't like any of them.
I
I'm
thought
not like.
Ringo was kind of a pimp. He was the voice of Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah,
The
which is weird.
The narrator.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a cover.
George Harrison?
I got my mind set on you is from Rudy Clark, 1962.
Well, neither of us knew that.
Did was Harrison like what were his big songs that he wrote?
Fab, that song.
No, with
he didn't
the
write
Beatles.
that song. You just told us that.
He wrote a couple
but
of songs where he
that he
sang
wrote, but
with
it was
the
a big
Beatles.
song.
Okay, hold on. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyways, I like the Beatles. I think Harrison was my favorite.
Okay, well, let's move on to the last guy.
My least favorite
cut.
was McCartney, but in
Rod
later in life, I
Blagojevich.
think it might have been
Blagojevich.
Lennon.
Blagojevich. Blagojevich.
Oh, and they talked. I'm sorry, just one more thing. They talked.
Blagojevich.
They talked about Backbeat, just coincidentally, because he went to the movie.
Yeah.
So Backbeat was one of my favorite movies when I was like a younger man.
Really? I wouldn't
Yeah,
have-
it was just a
Interesting.
random movie that I ended up watching at the cottage one time, but it was really awesome. It had one of my favorite actors, Stephen Dorff, in it,
Mm-hmm.
who was also in Power of One, which was a movie I told you should watch. And it was really cool. It was about Pete Best, who was the
fifth
the
member.
bassist.
There were
and-
6 members. Stu Sutcliffe as
and
well.
he ended up, getting out before they got famous, and it was a whole story about him. Anyways, okay.
Oh my God, Simon.
What? That was the end of the story, Matt.
Blagojevich.
2245, Rod Blagojevich. It just hits different because this guy's the same thing as any guy Josh Dubin's brought in, right? I mean, all our perception, though, is this guy was a swarmy, JFK-like seeming guy, and
I had
everyone liked
never
him.
heard about him in my life, so that made this podcast a little like, it all sounded terrible, but I had never
I remember
known
him
that
going-
he was
yeah.
in prison.
I remember.
That sounds insane. If that's true, and he got railroaded like that by Obama. and then spends how many years in prison?
7.
He got 14 though, didn't he?
I think
No,
it's
but
7.
how many he actually spent in prison? Like, that is fucking crazy. That's crazy.
And that Obama didn't pardon him.
Well, Obama was the one who put him in there.
No, I think
Why would he
got,
pardon
I think
him?
he got put on for something that worked. Obama wanted me to put someone in. and-
Yeah, so Obama got him put in jail.
Or why didn't Obama also go into jail?
Hold on a second.
Why didn't Obama
Obama
also go
fucked
into jail?
him. Why would Obama pardon him?
To make it right? To make him whole again?
I mean, that makes sense, no?
So yeah, so it's the exact same.
No, it doesn't make sense. He fucked him. Why would he then want to make him whole?
No, I
My
believe
point
the
is
Department of Justice fucked
Think
him.
about it, Simon. You've become president. You've run your 8 years. This guy can't hurt your presidency anymore. So on your way out,
Well, I just don't even look at it like that. I look at it like this guy didn't do something that this egomaniac wanted him to do. There's no forgiveness for that. It's like 20 years from now, he'll be thinking fucking Bogdanovich, you know?
Okay, Obama couldn't have pardoned him because he was already out of prison. He actually went to jail during Bush and Cheney. It was their DOJ that was going after Democratic politicians.
So it wasn't Obama. What was he even talking about?
Obama was a
No,
senator at the
Obama
time.
came after Bush, though. He could have pardoned him at any time. So that still holds. So it's the same thing as these cops going after drug dealers, whatever, to frame them, to pad their stats. There's just another level going after politicians to pad their stats.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to harp on this, but did you not get the impression that this guy said that
Yeah, but Obama was a senator.
fucked him?
Yeah.
You act like
got the
Obama.
impression.
You act like Obama ran a grocery store and was then
So
president.
you think he fucked him as a senator?
Yeah, I think that's now that I know what Kamar just told us.
He did not think highly of Barack Obama. That's the take I got from this.
I remember him saying that Obama was the president and wanted him to appoint somebody that he wouldn't appoint.
They're still
I'm not going to
senators.
lie, Simon. I remember that as well. However,
I'm confused.
you and I both do a lot of pot,
Yeah,
and
no,
we're elderly
that's-
at this point, so it's tough to.
That's fine.
But it is odd that I remember that as
We
well.
both remember
Yeah.
the same thing.
I mean, that
all
wouldn't be
these people see Bigfoot. You know,
Why you take it there, but sure.
But it hits different than all the Josh Dubin ones. You do not feel sorry for this guy being wrongly accused and made because we're racist than all the other guys.
It hits
Talking about, I still feel bad for this
it
guy.
hits different because this feels way more like directly related to the president, but it's not. Sorry, I'm still confused by this whole thing.
No, I agree with Simon. Before, when it was the president, it felt like the entirety of the U.S. government was just going to lock you up and throw away the key.
So why did he go to jail, Kamar? Could you repeat that for me?
Because it was seen he was
was the
going
charge?
to put the person in seat that Obama wanted. Obama wanted an individual to be appointed to a seat, and he was going to get money for it.
So it is because of Obama.
But he never even got that far. It was just a discussion.
Yeah, this guy said, I'm not going to do that. And Obama was like, well, if you're not going to do that, you're out of here. And I'm going to put somebody in who is going to do it.
U.S. Attorney Patrick Fitzgerald
So
directed FBI to arrest Blagojevich at his home on December 9th, 2008, and charge him with corruption. The Justice Department complaint alleged that the governor conspired to commit several pay-to-play schemes, including attempting to
was
obtain
Obama.
personal gain through corrupt use of his authority to fill the United States Senate seat vacated by Barack Obama. So Barack Obama goes up, you're right, to president, and now there's a Senate seat that's vacant.
It's all about Obama.
Yeah, so we
We were
did hear
correct.
that. Okay.
That's why he hates Obama so much. The fence story though was a little
Fence story.
where he's like, this guy was nice enough to build or to buy a lot for Obama so he could have
yeah,
a double
yeah, yeah,
lot,
yeah.
and then he had
he
to
made
build
him-
the
then he made
fence.
him build a fence.
$13,000. Like, I don't think it just seemed a little petty. It
did, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
It was a bad example to give as to why one would hate Obama.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's cheap.
This fence.
Don't worry about that. Worry about the fact that he colluded or whatever to get you thrown in prison.
And his chef drowned in his pool.
This guy, Obama's
Obama.
chef, drowned in his pool, yeah.
It is crazy that it'll go from governor of Chicago to prison
of
dishwasher.
Chicago.
Or Illinois, sorry. Pardon me. Thank you, man.
Yeah, the whole thing is fucking nuts. And what was he actually accused of? Was it pedophilia? No.
No, what? No, he was
For
saying
a pay-to-play scheme, trying to...
He just told you six
I'm done. I'm done.
No, he was saying that
No, that's
pedophiles
right,
in
that's
prison.
right,
He
yeah.
went off on
Yeah,
how
yeah.
you can't use the word, what was it, cholo, and you can't
use the
like,
word pedophile.
Yeah, and he was like, they're a protected class in there because they'll just get absolutely murdered, which is
No, but then he made it seem like it was a woke thing. Like you couldn't say bad things about them. And
no. I think he just meant like it brings out the worst in everyone in all these murderers in the cell block. You say pedophile, and all of a sudden everyone's blood boils.
but I mean that is true. We always thought that there was a certain amount of
Immediate rape, immediate
justice
yeah.
that was being brought forth to these people.
I mean, I think that's television.
You think that's television?
Yeah.
No, I know for a fact though, because of what my brother-in-law, he told me stories about things that happened to those guys. Like bad things happened to
Yeah, but
those
why?
guys.
If you're one of those guys, why don't you just immediately go into protective custody?
Well, I think for some of them, that's what they do. Some guys don't want to live their prison term like that. Like, I don't think.
No, you shouldn't fuck kids.
No, I'm just saying, like, you're in prison for
Yeah.
25 years or whatever. You might want to spend more than an hour outside in a week. Like, that's what happens when you're in protective
Oh,
custody.
I get it. You get that little fucking outside box where you
It
barely
stinks.
get sun.
You
Yeah,
don't see anyone, like, except for the other pederasses.
Dale. Kamar, what else you got for Blagojevich? I do remember though, at the time Jon Stewart was on television doing the Daily Show at the time, and they ran this shit for a while. That Blagojevich was
corrupt,
guilty and
paid to
corrupt.
play the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
Making
thing.
jokes about him
Yeah.
and stuff. But I mean, in all fairness to Jon Stewart, like if that's the information he's
No, I'm not.
getting-
I'm not shitting. I'm not trying to railroad Jon Stewart. I'm just saying that my memory, like you were like, I don't remember this at all. I was an avid watcher of the Daily Show when Jon Stewart was,
Gotcha.
and it just makes me question everything.
Everything, right? Like you go back in history now.
Well, because even the things that you're like, well, this was I'm listening to the the side that was like right on a lot of
Yeah.
stuff, where they were poking the good fun at both sides, and then you're like, man, maybe it was just
Dude,
all
there,
fucking
there are
horseshit.
so many things that I have like a false impression of. Like Ross Perot is a perfect example. Like I thought he was just some kook who wanted to be president. You know what I mean?
He was.
No, but
really
he
rich kook.
he was like wanted to buck the system. He wanted to do exactly what Trump was doing. He just didn't have a television show where he had garnered all this love from the people, you know? He was a nobody.
Well, that's what I always say. Any of these charges against Trump were around during The Apprentice, when he was on top of the world in that world. Why they didn't
No,
press charges
the
then?
Stormy Daniels thing wasn't.
The Stormy Daniels thing wasn't, but the girl, the sexual assault or the civil case, the pricing his businesses.
I thought that one was recent. The Mar-a-Lago pricing of the business. I thought that was like within his presidency.
They
didn't
filed
own
charges,
Mar-a-Lago
but
back
this
then, did
was for no, but it was just declaring. It was also properties in New York City. The whole Jon Stewart went after them, and the whole point is if they are overvalued, then he should actually pay more taxes. Anyways, we're getting off topic. It seems like Blagojevich is pretty supportive of Trump. He's Serbian, which is interesting because he had the other side of the Kosovo take.
Yeah.
Because we all think that they were trying to kill all them, or we know what we know is. But like he said, the Serbians were allies with America, and we all know that you're an ally till you aren't.
Yeah, till you're no fucking good.
Because even though, and now this is way back, all the bad things you heard about Saddam Hussein, there was actually no reason for any of that to happen.
Well, I don't think Saddam Hussein was a great guy.
Doesn't matter. There's
No, no,
lots
no,
of
no.
ungreat people. That doesn't justify
No,
what happened. The amount of money spent, the amount of lives that were lost.
No, totally. But both things can be true at the same time.
Absolutely.
Massive overreaction, but also probably not a great guy for world diplomacy, you know? But again, that might be, I don't know anything, right? Like I only know what they tell us about
Yeah.
Saddam Hussein. But when you hear like about his sons and the way they like, he sounded like a pretty vicious guy. And
His
I don't
sons
think the
sounded way
people
worse.
loved him, right? Which is often a good, or maybe they did. I don't know.
I think
Rob
Rob?
Blagojevich?
No, Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein.
No, I would not know the answer to that.
Like we assume that he was hated by the people, but that's often
Well,
an
what is the
American-
What is the people like? More than 60%? Because
Yeah.
he obviously had people that were sympathetic, right?
Well, yeah, no, I just meant like, you know, you'll hear about Putin or whoever, and they're like, oh, this is everybody hates him, and then his public
Rating.
is at like 80%, you know, but that's not good fodder for the media channels when they're trying to scare you about Russia. And I don't know if that's true.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just using that as an example.
He was talking about states' rights. They were talking about abortion specifically and how it. But you know how someone will be like, I'm from Texas or I'm from California, the state pride.
Yeah.
So you have this weird level of, you have your national pride. I'm an American from Texas. Do you feel that you're proud to be from Ontario?
No.
Or is it just Ontario?
Who gives a fuck?
Is it strange? But
The only one that has that is Quebec and maybe Alberta. Oh, I guess the
I
Maritimes.
think British Columbia, I think they're pretty
Speaking
cool.
of abortion, so you being a Trump supporter, so what's the logic there? So he says, I'm giving it to the states so that they can all decide.
Well, that's
But
how it
we-
always was.
But we know there are states that are deciding to not let women do it.
Yeah.
Or just have restrictions or stricter than others. I don't think there's any place where it's banned. I don't know that though. I could be talking about my ass.
There are places that are trying to ban it outright, Simon.
Yeah.
That's what you're at. Yes. But yeah. Go on.
I just so what do you think about that, Kamar? Like,
I don't know. I think abortion is not a good thing, but it's something that people should be allowed to do. Like I said, we need 100,000 immigrants a year, and there's 100,000 abortions a year.
but Trump is like doing this under the guise of like, I'm giving you more freedom by letting the states decide. But really, that's not the case, right? Like, you're giving these women less freedom.
No, the idea has always been, listen, in a horse and wagon society where you could just pick up and leave, like that was the idea. Oh, you don't like the laws in Oklahoma? Well, you are free to pick up your homestead and go to California where the laws may be more.
Yeah, no, I get it. But this was like, the abortion thing was it trumped, it was a rule
First
for
of all,
everybody.
Trump didn't do this. The Supreme Court did. Donald Trump had nothing to do with this.
Donald Trump had nothing to do with.
With what's going on with the abortion rights in the U.S.
Okay.
Well, he had something to do with it in the sense
He
that
put in
he
the people-
appointed 2 Supreme Court justices in his 4 years, and they then overturned Roe v. Wade. And if you really want to throw blame, you can throw it back to Obama, who could have codified it into law in his 8 years where he controlled the House
But he
and the
didn't
Senate.
do that because
but he
he would
didn't
lose
do
votes.
that. I don't know why. Listen, in his second term, what votes are there to lose?
Yeah, I don't know.
So you do it, you codify it, you make it so that every state can't ban abortion, and then there is no Roe v. Wade. But he didn't do that. And instead, Ruth Bader Ginsburg didn't retire. She instead died. And now we are where we are. So it has nothing to do with, like, if you want to blame Donald Trump for things, there's certain stuff you can blame him for. This is not one of them.
No, I'm not blaming him. I'm just wondering, like, that doesn't seem like. So you're saying it has nothing to do with him at all?
I'm saying I'm giving the states the right to choose.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that is him enforcing the Supreme Court's decision to leave it up to the states. Whereas I assume maybe if he has the same control of the House and the Senate, that he could codify it into law, but he's not going to because his people
I just
are.
feel he's talking it out of both sides of his mouth on this one, but I guess.
I mean, he's a politician, so that's probably what's happening.
I just want to know if he felt Ontario pride.
No.
No, I don't feel Ontario pride, but I do like Ontario.
But you feel
as
Canadian pride.
as a province. I'd rather be from Ontario than from like.
But for some reason, we just don't identify like that.
Well, I
Quebec.
just I don't know it's there just isn't the difference between provinces here isn't as great as it might be in the States.
Yeah, and maybe if we had more provinces, you'd feel more pride. Like there'd be more.
Sure. I also think it depends the state you're from. Like, I don't hear a lot of people from Delaware like, let me Delaware all day.
I think everybody loves their state.
Sure, maybe. But my point being is just
Yeah, these little allegiances we have.
sure.
I have allegiance to our city.
Yeah.
I'm a big city guy.
Did you?
I mean, keep in mind, too,
I do.
Kamar,
Florida's overrun by the truckers
613.
till I die.
there are people that go to a university 5 states over and forever they're just like Duke.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We all have tribes. I just think it's. I don't know what I was thinking actually, but there's just not Ontario pride. But we could have it.
No, but we won't.
We don't. He's out of politics now, and he wants to work on helping people in rehabilitation. I think the best thing to do is trades, but maybe that's counterintuitive to give prisoners hammers. But we really should have forgiveness, rehabilitation in our mind.
But hold on, there's
Why bad to give
No,
in
wait.
prison?
You're
to
doing
give
this
them
weird.
hammers?
You're doing a weird thing though. Like you're not trying to rehabilitate 25-year murderers. You're trying to rehabilitate people that are in on like 2 to 3
I
year
guess
bids.
it depends. I look at the case of Tim McLean, the classic case of a carny who was working in Edmonton on the bus home from Winnipeg and had his head cut off and eaten by a immigrant who is now walking free again. We forgave him, rehabilitated him. Is it the ultimate?
That guy was in jail for like 6 years.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Actually, you know what else is ridiculous? You know that guy that they drove the wrong way up the 401? Mm-hmm. Probation.
What do you mean? That's happened 50
Well,
times in
and
the last
that's-
4 months.
Killed 4 people.
Were they drunk?
Drunk, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty heinous, but that's way less egregious than cutting somebody's head off on a Greyhound bus.
They're
and
both
eating
egregious.
it.
What are you
The
talking
only
about?
the
Four
only thing
people
in
died.
his defense is when he got in the case, he said, "Kill me." He wanted to die. So that's what we all
Why
want.
did you
as
bring
well
that up
with
again?
That's why he did it, because he wanted to die.
No.
Wait,
he
why did
thought
you-
this guy was from another dimension and he was saving the bus.
Okay,
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about the person getting on the freeway.
let me go back to the original point. My point is this. If you are in prison for a non-violent drug offense,
We should try to.
I don't think there's anything wrong with teaching that guy how to drywall.
Yes, I agree. That's what was my point.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But if you killed 75 people,
Yeah, we don't want that guy holding a hammer, but they're just locked up for good anyway. What I'm saying is, like, if you're in on like a 5-year bid for something non-violent, I agree with you. We should be teaching you, like, hey, when you get out, like he said, he used a good one. Kitchen.
yes. Well, the kitchen.
There's a million kitchen
As
jobs.
you was saying kitchen, hospitality, I was thinking trades too.
No, you're
But-
right. I agree with trades.
Having people with no skill or whatever just is creating a bigger chance for them to reoffend or do something poor.
Dude, how can they not reoffend? Most people won't hire them. You have no skills. It's crazy, and you can't. Minimum wage in some states is still like fucking $6 an hour.
The system really feels like they're just trying to get them back in to fill a bed again.
Well, and it was nice to hear both of them, Joe, be like, how do you feel about the industrial prison complex? And he was like, honestly, not great. You can't have for-profit prisons. It's fucking...
No, well, hopefully now that Joe has a seat on the government, he'll be able to push forward some of these ideas.
Listen to this. I read this stat yesterday. The U.S. spends more money on policing their own citizens than any other country spends on their military except for China.
That's crazy. So not only is their military budget
Heinous.
a million times more than
But
any...
they are spending all this money locking up their own citizens.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, again, when you have private prisons, it just fucks everything up.
Like he said, he's like, you can privatize aspects of it, like find a company that's going to come in and train them to do stuff and sort of outsource that sort of stuff. But don't just make it,
No,
like he was saying, like the
it can't be
commissary.
a capitalistic venture.
Well, like he was saying, the commissary is all privately owned, and like I bet they make billions of dollars a year off commissary.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I have less problem with the commissary because, look, if you're going to have any sort of prison, it would just be done by the state or whatever. That doesn't seem like as big a deal to me.
Well, again, the Jim Crow thing, the like 12 cents an hour to work, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can't be making money locking them up and then having slave labor at the 12 cents an hour rate that you're
No, I
'cause
guess
then you're
I'm
double
just less
incentivized to lock
concerned
people up.
about like the toothbrush manufacturers having a hand in the private prisons because they want to sell a lot of toothbrushes in the commissary, you know?
I get you. As far as that it, we're done with Glojevich. I mean, they definitely talked a lot of fighting and working out for like the last half of it.
He interviewed Joe for a good part of the episode, and we know what happens when that happens.
I like the idea though that he also went to jail. That perspective before the social media explosion and everything.
It was also so weird to hear him be like, my homies. I was like,
Yes, he's a man of the people for real. For
It's
real.
one thing if you do something bad and you know it in your soul and you have to spend time in prison, but to be like a innocent person like that, if he really was innocent, and to have to go and spend that time must just be like
hold on, wait.
the most
wait.
soul-sucking experience ever.
Let me ask you a question though. Like, even if he was guilty of whatever the fuck Kamar said he was guilty of, 7 years seems aggressive, does it not?
Seems totally agreed. It seems crazy. I'm just saying though, like being innocent and having to spend one day in prison must just be.
But I'm just saying, if you're trying to levy sentences onto politicians for playing dirty, like a year or two and then ban them from politics seems. I mean, unless
Pelosi.
hold on, no, I wasn't done. Unless they have made a great deal of money from it, in which case you again then just say you also owe $50 million. So you made Nancy Pelosi, you owe $460 million for your insider trading, and you're doing 5 years in prison. Is that it, Kamar? We're done.
It's a 2.
I give this. I'll actually give this one a 3.
I give it a 2.
I'm being generous. It's Christmas.
I thought it was great to hear the story because it's good to know when
The first half was great.
lies
But
are
I like-
happening, but this stunk.
I liked it in the way that what I thought was not real. Again,
No, and that's it. This is
One
why
and
I'm
a
giving it a
half.
3. This is why I give it a 3 because I'm sitting here again forced to sit in my own shit where I'm like, I actually know nothing. And moving forward, I can't believe, you know that old believe none of what you hear and half what you see? I just think you can believe nothing and nothing. That's where we're at.
That's a sad situation we find ourselves in.
What do you want from me? All right, gang, that's it. Merriest of Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Whatever you celebrate, we hope
Happy
you're
Kwanzaa.
Yeah, we hope you're celebrating with your family. We hope you're staying safe out there. We want to thank you guys for a great year over here. We're still doing it amazingly. What's up?
I was just gonna say Feliz Navidad.
Oh yeah, Feliz
that's
Navidad.
another one.
That's just Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I know, but that's
It's
Oh.
in a different language.
it's just a different language.
Yeah, it's just Merry Christmas. It's like Joyeux Noël.
So they didn't get in there. It's
No,
still
no, no,
Kwanzaa,
I'm pretty
number
sure.
3.
Yeah,
Okay.
number 3. Yeah. Anyway, listeners, thank you for a great year. We love all of you. I'm going to spare you the Patreon spiel. It's Christmas. Don't give us
There's
shit.
no
Be with your family.
episode before the new year?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying Happy New Year. I was just, it's Christmas. And this
Merry
is the last one
Christmas,
before
yeah.
Christmas. I'm just thanking them for the year that we've had. I'll do it again next week.
Gotcha.
If you want to join the Patreon, you know where to find it. Link in the bottom. Thank you guys so much. We hope you enjoy your week. Have a great weekend. Have a great Christmas. And as usual,
Merry Kwanzaa. Keep your eyes open.